YouTube. There. I think we're on. Are we on?
Sure.
This is the dumb part of the whole stream. Where we sit here and go, am I on? Are we here? Is there anybody watching? Hello? Hi. Hi. Leslie's in chat. She says we're doing a thing. So that must be good.
Jeez, I need to behave myself then.
Why start now?
Now, why don't you come up when I type in your name? Honestly, maybe my script.
Because I don't know.
I didn't.
These are trivial matters, sir.
Clearly.
Trivial. These are not things I care about right now.
Nope.
It is enough that you are there in a screen. How are you?
Good. Busy. I'm freshly showered from the pool.
Oh, freshly showered from the pool.
As you do, because little people need to learn how to swim. So naturally, it falls on the father parent figure to go and get wet in the morning on a Saturday and do that thing.
Indeed,
so
it does.
Fine.
Okay, all right. Whatever, man. Whatever. You'll notice I'm imbibing today. I'm attempting another adult beverage foray.
Surely not.
Yes, indeed.
Surely not.
This is not an advertisement or an endorsement. They have paid me no money for what I am about to show you. I'm just being informative. Well, it would be nice to be sponsored by somebody, but that's clearly not happening anytime soon.
Maybe they should. That would be a thing, surely.
Yes, Walkabout Brewing Company, Jabberwocky Ale.
Amazing.
One of your Australian people has defected over here to the local area and set up his own brewery.
Oh.
As apparently you do. I don't know. But it's pretty good stuff. I enjoy it. I'm looking a little scruffy today. I'm like, I didn't really... There. Much better.
That's all right.
Much better.
These things happen.
Yes, they do.
These things happen.
Quite often, frankly.
That's
so,
okay.
How is little Max?
He's doing well. He's doing pretty well. He was sick, but now not sick. So
good.
Doing all right.
Doing the swim thing.
Infected both of us, and we're still recovering. So thanks, little man. Much appreciated.
Doing the swim thing.
Yes. No, he had a little snot action. Just got up in the old sinuses in the ears.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Anyway, he's over it now, so he doesn't care.
Good.
He's fine.
Glad to hear it. So,
the rest of us are getting on a little slower, but that's okay.
Do they only teach the Australian crawl over there? Is that how that works? Is that why the swim lessons are?
Sure. We'll put it this way: he can swim before he can walk. So.
Right. Okay. All right. How many jokes can you get out of that one phrase? All right. It is great to see you, sir.
It is. It's been some time.
Yes.
Some time has passed.
You may have noticed that we over here have moved into the fall portion of the program.
Yes.
Which
that is certainly a thing that has happened.
I think means that you over there are moving into the spring portion of your program.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Both of which are accompanied by approximately the same weather, just headed in opposite directions.
Amazing.
Morning, Brian.
I'm in case you're wondering what that was about, I have to test all the yogurt because she doesn't eat yogurt.
Is it okay?
It's fun. Because she's a little paranoid when it comes to yogurt. She thinks it's poison, so I have to taste it and make sure it's not poison.
Well, there are all kinds of living things in there if you're doing it right.
It's true.
Yes. Any one of which in Australia could pull a knife on your internals.
True. Very true.
All right. Well, the yogurt's good. That's great. Hello, Michelle, etc. All that kind of stuff. That should just happen.
GI tract is now spot on.
That sort of thing should just happen more often, where hands come in and feed you for who knows what reason.
It's the story of my life. I mean, some of us just have to put up with it, so it's fun.
Right. Okay.
That's okay. That's okay. So, how have you been, sir? How have you been keeping? You've been busy, keeping yourself active.
I've been okay. I have adopted a particular strategy which is seeing to my survival quite well presently, which is ignoring any sign of politics or presidential debates or anything like that. So, of the majority of Americans, I'm probably doing quite well, thank you. Although
you're fine.
Although I do have to say, today the papers of doom arrived in the mail. This is my ballot. This is my ballot, my voting ballot, for the travesty we call politics.
Yeah. It's because, you know what? Oh, your vote matters. Your vote?
Oh, sure. My vote matters. I mean, there it is. There's the names. You see them right there.
On the plus side, if you fail to fill that out, you don't get slapped with a fine. So there is that.
See, the funny thing is, this is true. See, the funny thing is, at least in Oregon, I don't know how it's organized in the rest of the states, but I assume it's pretty similar. At least in Oregon, you do not vote for the candidates.
Oh.
If you'll notice, the tick marks are not next to the candidate names. They are next to the party that the candidate belongs to.
Yeah, that's worse, shall we say? Without divulging into too much of a political tirade, I always thought it would be interesting to have an election where it was illegal to actually list the parties on the election ballot. You had to vote for the person.
Oh,
and
nobody
if you didn't know
would
who
ever.
The person was with. It's your own damn fault.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. By the way, you see this here. You see this right here on the top of my bookshelf.
Oh yes.
That right there. You see what that says? That's a board game. That's a board game.
Oh.
I just thought I'd drag that out because right behind that is my router and my modem flashing away, which I had all kinds of fun with here earlier since the last time we talked. A variety of problems.
It's always nice when you have like the internet. It's useful for doing things.
Sure.
So useful.
Right.
So useful.
You bet. Okay, so I've got things here that you wouldn't believe, things that have been going on and have been doing, and I have been.
Do tell, sir.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so we launched our Transit RPG Alpha.
Yes, certainly did.
At the first of the month, and we just today put out the second alpha update, so that's out for everybody. We're quite pleased with ourselves.
I noticed.
I mean,
I saw a few of the tweets passing to and fro.
I mean, why not be pleased with ourselves at this point? Nobody's really complained.
Exactly. That's got to be a good sign.
Yeah, it is. We're in the second alpha. They're not the second alpha, but alpha 0.02, I guess, or 0.2, whatever it is, with some updates and things. So that document has grown to, I think it's 56 pages at this point. And there's lots more to come yet. I think, this is just me ballparking things, I think by the time we get all the rules in, we'll be up somewhere around the 70 or 80 page mark. And this is just printed, printer paper. What do you call it? A4 over there. We call it 8.5 by 11 over here. It's just printed, single space, nothing fancy.
Nothing fancy. Standard what you'd hand in your homework at school on.
Yeah. So we think we're probably the rules portion is gonna finish out around 70, maybe 80 pages at the outside. And that's without a whole lot of flavor text and artwork and whatever else we decide to do with that.
So you're kind of looking at a 240-page core rulebook is what I'm sort of hearing.
That's probably...
You kind of want 2 to 1 for the rules, because you don't want 2 rules heavy, so you got to fill it.
Kind of. I mean, it's, the system... The Powered by the Apocalypse system isn't really heavy on world building details and stuff like that that's already in the book. You're supposed to do a lot of that yourself at the table with you and the players.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of be sticking to that, but we are going to provide some further details and whatnot. Just little bits here and there.
Cool.
Things to kind of explain some of the design choices we made and all of that kind of thing, sort of, mostly.
Nice.
Anyway, that's coming along nicely. I sent you an email this morning about it that should get you some access to that sort of thing. Should you choose to take a look? Yes.
I'm sort of coming off the back of a very long trip this week, so
yeah.
I'm still catching up with everything.
Did you go somewhere fun at least?
I went north, and it was, how far north did I go? I went north, I want to say 400, 300k, 400k each way, sort of northish, fairly north, almost into the next state.
Right.
Then I did cross into the next state, and then I crossed back real quick because I don't like that state, so I stayed in this state. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe I'd have spent the night in that state. I don't know. It gets very confusing around the border because there's no line.
They don't have a line drawn out there?
It's just, you cross over, you don't even notice. So.
Oh. Because around here, like if I go south to California, I take like the I-5 and go down to Cal. There's a definite line between where Oregon maintains the roads and California maintains the roads. There's like a huge difference between the way the two things are done. And you can tell that nobody in 80 years has gone even a quarter inch beyond where they absolutely had to.
Yeah. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this one you could literally just be going out for a stroll and find yourself in a different state. You would not notice.
Well, I mean, once you get out of Melbourne, it's all dust and dirt and rocks anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
though, oddly enough,
there's literally nothing else out there.
Well, they had a bit of rain.
Oh.
And when I say a bit of rain, I mean a lot of rain. And by a lot of rain, I mean a metric shit ton of rain.
Oh, okay.
So all the rivers are like bursting, and there's massive pools of water in places there normally aren't, and everything's green, and there is a large insect population as a result.
Right.
So that's fun. My car was almost drivable with the visibility I had through the windshield after about an hour, but that's fine. You stop and make a hole so you can see again, and you keep going. It's all good.
Right. I don't know if you get these down there, but there's a thing called wipers. Windshield wipers.
They work to a point.
Oh. See,
when you have high impact insects at 100k, they kind of sprawl.
Right.
And then the entrails kind of, I don't know I think it's a chemical binding that happens because that shit does not displace.
Right. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I mean, far be it for me to argue with the local wildlife in Australia there.
Plow on through, mate. Plow on through.
Not a thing I want to deal with. All right.
Yep. Definitely the technical term. Yes. So, yes. Anyway, there you go. That was the thing. That was a trip. I was taken, and then I came back, and it was a long trip. But that's okay. I got stuff done. I was efficient, and things happened. It was brilliant.
How nice for you.
So, yes. So what are we talking about today? So
I've got all kinds of things to talk about. I mean, where do you want to start?
Don't know. I only have one thing to talk about, which is really the only thing that's happened.
Is it Civ 6?
Yes, that's the only one.
How did I know? How did I know it was going to be Civ 6 with you this time?
Look, I felt like the fact that all of these people that you know on Steam were playing it might have given you the inkling that I was probably also playing it. But I figured instead of from the point of view that me just ranting on about Civ 6 and what I do and don't like about it, I thought I'd simply ask you, what did you hate about Civ 5? And I'll just tell you whether or not it's in Civ 6 or if it's been fixed.
What did I hate about Civ 5?
Yeah. What was not good?
Everything.
Then you'll be glad to know Civ 6 is very little like Civ 5. So there you go.
Didn't like the tiles, didn't like a lot of the fiddly bits of, the art thing and the,
Yep,
where
that's been fixed significantly.
All the micromanage. I mean, I know Civilization is a game about micromanaging.
Sure,
but there's
degrees of micromanaging.
There's a limit to the amount of micromanaging I want to have to do. If it takes me 3.5 hours to prepare one turn, that's too much.
That's too much. And fair enough, too. I can safely say I do not feel like it takes me that long to do a turn at the moment.
Okay.
So there's that,
right,
which is a good thing. So, and all that artwork stuff that you're annoyed at, that has been simplified somewhat into just a few great works that you'll pick up and fight over.
Basically, I just want Civ 4 again.
Well, see, a lot of people are saying that Civ 6 is a hell of a lot closer to Civ 4 than it is to Civ 5. So, from that point of view purely, you may actually not hate it as much.
And that planet thing, the sci-fi one, that was extremely disappointing.
Nothing like that, which is really good.
Okay, taking you at your word. This doesn't mean I'm running out and buying it so you and I can play a half a game and then never finish it. That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, maybe. Though interestingly, this particular Civ 6, I did not pay for. Somebody else paid it for me because they wanted to play with me. So now I'm playing with them.
Oh, I see.
There you go.
Is this your usual other gaming partner?
This certainly is.
Oh, of course. Naturally.
A good gaming friend partner, yes.
Okay. All right.
Apparently that's a thing. But so far, so good. I'll just say I've played one game for a few hours. And I was playing France. And I started on a river next to a tile of mercury that was also on the river. What could possibly go wrong with the start of this civilization? Nothing, honestly. Just I'm sure it'll be fine. A poisoned water supply, I'm sure it'll be fine.
Who cares?
So I figured in keeping with the start that I had, I would play them as crazy. Because a little mercury in your main water supply surely would cause a problem.
Might as well. It might just as well. No problem there.
Well, we'll see, Leslie. It's up in the air at the moment. At the moment, I'm kind of isolated. I have no warmongering tendencies, but the problem is that as soon as someone declares war on me, I kind of get the war bug, and then I just have to murder everybody. So you know what? I'm fine until someone crosses that line. And then it's a problem.
Sammy plays this sort of, it's not really gunboat diplomacy. It's more like it's the sort of diplomacy you get when two people with sharpened sticks agree to not stab each other right now.
Yes.
As Correct. Long as there's a third party to stab, everything's great.
Perfect. That's all I ask. All I ask.
Fine.
Yeah. Never mind.
Fine.
Never mind. It's fine. What could possibly go wrong?
So you may have heard of this. I don't know. I understand occasionally some sort of news trickles down to Australia, and occasionally you find things out. I picked up this, which is Storm King's Thunder for D&D 5e.
Oh dear.
And I have not picked up certain other books. I didn't pick up The Curse of Strahd. I didn't pick up I think it's the Sword Coast Adventurers Guide. I didn't pick up what's the thing with the
Queen of Dragon?
No, I got that. I didn't. I think I got Princess of the Apocalypse, and I think I skipped the one after that, the one where you're in the Underdark all the time or whatever.
Oh, that one, yes.
Yeah, can't not remember the name. It was so good.
The giant dungeon crawl under a thing. Yes.
Right. So I haven't really read through this, but I have sort of paged through it and looked at the artwork.
Nice.
I was a bit thrown because this was not produced by an outside studio.
Oh.
You know, like Green Ronin did a couple and Kobold Press. This appears to have been entirely done in-house at Wizards of the Coast.
Is that a good thing?
Well, this is what I'm getting to. I am not terribly impressed with just the look of this book. Now, the words in it may be great. Like I said, I haven't read them. Not thoroughly. I have kind of a general idea based on just chapter and section headings, what goes on. But the book itself presents itself as being much less interesting than some of the previous offerings. I mean, I don't know about you, but okay, this is like the first. I'm going to show you the first piece of art in. Well, it's not really. I'm kind of picked a bad section. It's representative of the art in some of the early portions here.
Okay.
Okay. You see. Let me see if I can get this in here without killing the microphone, which I can't. Nope. Okay. Blah 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 blah. This is. Hang on. Let me scoot that over. There. Can you see the little dude there on the screen? Something like that. Okay?
So, oh, yeah.
That to me... that to me does not look...
Wow.
like the kind of art we've had in the other products. You know?
There we go. Okay.
All right. It does not look like the kind of art we've had in the other products.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, I think that's kind of a theme with the book as a whole, is that the art in here tends to be a lot more muted, and the maps are a lot less interesting.
Is there a lot less flourish on the pages? Because I feel like the pages in the other books had a bit more flourish to them. Yeah,
there is a lot less. I mean, it's just the presentation is really weird. There's no, in terms of like full page spreads and whatnot, like we got some of the other, there's not a lot of that. There's a lot of half page, quarter page stuff, but that to me does not look all that great. This is, I think the chapter headings you get a splash page.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully you can see that. I can't tell. But a lot of it is just...
Would you classify that as more like an indie book where they're trying to save on printing costs to get out their first core rulebook?
Yeah, that's the feeling I get from it.
Which is not great.
But I don't know. Like I said, the adventure itself, the whole thing could be absolutely brilliant. But it is not the kind of book that made me go, oh, I need to read this right away. Which at least the Dragon Queen or Queen of the Dragon Horde or whatever the heck it is and all that stuff, at least those managed to do that. They made me say, okay, let's see what's going on here. This looks kind of cool. This is like, I'm gonna get to it eventually. Maybe. So that's my commentary on that. I've had it for 3 or 4 weeks now, and I just have not bothered to get to it yet.
And to play with your regular Saturday night group, of course.
My what? Say that. I don't understand any of those words. None of those words have made an impression on me.
Well, I'm sorry. I was speaking Spanglish, and it just didn't work.
Oh, Spanglish now. Is that what you're doing? Okay. On a somewhat related note, because as you know, the default setting for D&D is now the Forgotten Realms.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's assume I'm up with
Trust me. Just trust me.
I can't say I'm surprised that they didn't go with Eberron, but hey.
Yeah, well. I picked up Iron Assassin by Ed Greenwood.
Oh, yes.
I thought, that's a pretty cool little cover. That looks interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that could be worth a read. Did not open the book in the bookstore when I picked it up. Okay.
Huh.
Had I done so,
Yeah.
I might have noticed that, like so few of my favorite books, it has what's called dramatis personae right at the start. This is where they list all the characters in the book and then give you a brief biographical sketch of those characters, right?
Yeah.
Now ask yourself, why do they do that?
I've come across that once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the reason they come across it is because they're too lazy to actually flesh out characters in actual written language.
That could be
and they
part
just
of it.
want to say, here's the characters, and now we're just going to jump in and completely ignore them.
Sure. Yeah, that might be one reason. That's a pretty reasonable assumption. The other reason they do that is because the book itself is so confusing that there's no way to keep track of the characters without having something to refer back to.
Have they in brackets, have they got little refer page 1 occasionally throughout the book?
No, not exactly.
And then Jimmy jumped in and did this thing and then disappeared again. Who was Jimmy? Who? Go to page 1. Oh, Jimmy! Oh, okay then.
Right. Which is fine. I mean, if your book is convoluted and, there's a lot to keep track of and that sort of thing.
But convoluted in a good way?
Yeah,
or
convoluted in a good way
confusing
is, that's fine. But typically, sir, you do not get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pages for something like 98 characters of dramatis personae in a 320-page book.
So they've put the appendix at the front. That's what you're telling me. The appendix is at the front.
Yeah. I mean, that's just the first of this book's problems. I'm only like... excuse me. I'm only like, I don't know, 50 pages, 60 pages in.
That's...
And I may not get to 61.
There's a lot... Yeah, I'm not... Look, there's assumed knowledge, and then there's trying to get around assumed knowledge by just throwing in a bunch of facts at the start.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of... It's like... The one thing that I have forgiven in the past is the 2 or 3 page timeline that they'll slap at the start of a book to give you, like, broad strokes history.
Right.
That I can buy, because it's like, yeah, because otherwise you'd spend 4 or 5 chapters trying to flesh out this history.
Well, yeah.
But 98 characters? What?
I mean, you do that kind of thing, the timeline thing. You do that with the stuff that's germane to the story you're about to tell, but isn't as interesting as the story you're about to tell. So,
it's like,
you just
this
throw it in
city
there.
was founded, and it's like, okay, to explain that in actual story words, there's 5 chapters. Or we just say, no, this city got founded here, then, and this thing happened, and that was all that really was of note for those 500 years.
Yeah.
That's fine. I've got a problem with that.
The other major problem I've run into in the first 50 or 60 pages is that each scene I've come across so far, and there have been roughly 20 of them,
Yes.
is about 4 or 5 paragraphs long and then changes. I know. That seems rough. Seems like maybe you don't get enough character development in there. Seems like it's hard to piece the story together out of that. I know what you're thinking.
How many pages did you say the book was?
320.
320, and there are 98 characters, which means, at best, each character gets 3 pages worth of character development. But considering you actually need to tell a story in there as well, let's go ahead and assume that each character has 1 page of development at best.
See? You're spotting it.
That's a problem.
You're spotting it.
And look, not that I'm some great literary author or anything.
You're not?
No. But I feel like I know maybe a thing or two. It's not necessarily a rule, but I do enjoy books where it's sort of 1 chapter per scene. Even if the scene changes location, it's still sort of 1 chapter per scene.
Right.
And you close off the chapter, and then that's that scene done, and then you go to the next scene. You don't jump scenes within a chapter. It just...
Oh, no. I know. It's a rough read, I'll tell you that. It is a very rough read.
Read like someone whose mind was writing the book without editing.
Right.
It's like, well, this happened. Oh, but this is cool. And we'll do that. And then, but we're going to tell them about this because this is really cool. Let's bring it in. And then... No.
Also picked up a book by Yahtzee Croshaw. You know who Yahtzee Croshaw is?
Not ringing a bell?
Does the what is it? No, I can't think of the name of the thing. He does the little reviews for The Escapist, the little high-speed reviews.
Oh, yes.
0 punctuation. There you go.
Yes.
0 punctuation. He has written a number of books, that number being 3. And I read the first one.
It's a number of books.
Yes.
The number equals 3, yes.
I read the first one called Mog World a number of years ago and then reread it here recently. I thought it was good enough I would check out and see what else he had written. This is called Jam. Mm-hmm. And apparently the idea, again, haven't really cracked it open. It's just sitting here waiting. Apparently the fellow in this book wakes up one morning and the world is covered in man-eating jam.
That's a problem.
It's a problem? I don't know.
It's a problem.
So that, I look forward to getting that read. That'll be kind of cool.
I'm sort of giving vibes of the Blob here.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of the inspiration for it. Then I picked up Dragons at Crumbling Castle by Terry Pratchett. It's a bunch of short stories intended for kids and whatnot. Mm-hmm. I read that in an evening.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, not bad at all. A lot of fun.
Your favorite tasty beverage as well?
Yeah. It was a nice read, very easy, very quick, good for kids. Little stories in here, very fun and whatnot. It was just neat to see some of that because apparently a lot of these he wrote before he ever became really well known. He wrote them for the local paper he started out in.
Nice. I don't mind a short story sometimes. They can be quite refreshing after reading long sagas.
Yeah, these are really kind of cool. It's Pratchett, so they're not horrible. They're lightweight, though. I mean, they're not like reading a Discworld novel.
Yeah. That's fine. So, because you can get burned out on the giant sweeping sagas as you try and keep 12 storylines in your head at the same time, so you can enjoy the book properly.
Sure. And then I picked up. I mean, I went kind of on a book buying spree, and I picked up a bunch of other Terry Pratchett stuff. We got Truckers.
Nice.
We got Diggers. And we got Wings. And those are all in the Gnome series.
Okay.
Which, I mean, you're kind of familiar with the Borrowers and Brownies and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the same general principle. These are little people living in the walls of big society, right? Okay?
Yep.
Big people society. Doing their own little thing. And they're fun. They're fun little books to read. Again, probably pretty quick. Nothing overly complicated, good for kids of the not quite teen years. Mm-hmm. Right up there with his Johnny and the Bomb and all that kind of stuff. Only You Can Save Mankind and those books.
Yes, the preteens. Yes.
Right. Preteens. Picked up another Pratchett. It's actually not written by Pratchett, but it's set in the Discworld. It's Mrs. Bradshaw's Handbook. I have to read the whole thing. Mrs. Bradshaw's Handbook to Traveling Upon the Ankh-Morpork and Stow Plains Hygienic Railway.
Okay, so he's got the title right.
Yes.
The title has been done correctly.
That's
so
right.
That's a good start.
Yeah, so that'll be something I look forward to reading. It's one of those books. It's like that. I showed you the complete Ankh-Morpork book a while back, right?
Yes.
Yes. It's like that. It's in the world and it's telling you things about the world.
That's cool.
The kind of thing where if you were maybe thinking about someday running a game in said world, you might want to have some reference to the world itself that's handy and at your fingertips. Not that I would do such a thing. Ever.
Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, you remember earlier I said we were doing some work on the Transit RPG and such like things, right? And you remember
have been.
You remember I said it was powered by the Apocalypse, which is a reference to Apocalypse World, the RPG system that sort of kicked off a whole thing.
Yes, it did.
Dungeon World is part of that, which I have had for a while now. But also a part of that are a couple of other books. These both came out relatively recently. This is called Fellowship. It's also powered by the Apocalypse. It's an RPG. The idea behind it is that, as the name might imply, you are a member of a fellowship off on a quest to stop the big bad guy from doing the big bad thing.
Makes sense.
Okay?
Sure.
It seems interesting so far. I've read a majority of this. Has some interesting concepts and ideas in it. Normally in an Apocalypse World-based game, the person who is running the game, what you and I would normally think of as a GM or a DM, has kind of a more passive role than you would normally expect. They don't usually roll dice. They're not in charge of making the world. That kind of comes from the players as they generate the fiction and whatnot, that sort of thing. But people make these things called hacks of Apocalypse World, and Dungeon World is one hack. Fellowship is another. There's like 30 or 40 of them out there, actually.
Yeah.
Fellowship's major contribution to the hacks of Apocalypse, of the hacks of Apocalypse World, is that the person controlling the game is the evil overlord.
Okay.
And therefore takes a much more active role in the story.
Yep.
So that's a little different in terms of Apocalypse World. And I want to kind of check out how they made that work within the Apocalypse World system. So they have their own moves and abilities and things, and can even in fact apparently level up themselves. So that's kind of amusing. That seems. This is all, of course, research for the whole transit thing. But when I got that, I also went ahead and got Spirit of 77, which is the sort of the kind of movies that came out in the mid to late 70s, the kind of over the top action stuff with a lot of what we would call blaxploitation stuff and that kind of thing.
Yep.
Sort of the kung fu and really started to hit about then and all that kind of stuff. That kind of weirdness on your TV screen. It's kind of Bollywood has sort of taken over that in its own way. Those crazy kind of really over the top, doesn't have to make a whole lot of sense kind of films, right? And of course TV and music and whatnot. Well, Spirit of 77 is that. in RPG form. And again, powered by the Apocalypse, and it runs on the same basic system, but again, being a hack makes some of its own little changes and whatnot.
Cool.
One of which I immediately stole as soon as I read it in here, because we needed it for transit, because we were kind of stuck. We were kind of stuck on a thing.
Yep.
And this, as soon as I read it, I went, "Oh, that's the solution to the thing we're stuck on." Which, I mean, it seems obvious when I tell you about it, but the thing is, in the Apocalypse World system, you don't really know that it's possible to do it this way.
Okay.
I mean, one of the things is as a hack, you kind of you in a certain extent tend to try to stay close to the rules that are in the base game.
Well, yeah, because otherwise you're creating a completely different game, which
Right.
isn't really a hack anymore.
Exactly.
It's just a new game.
Exactly. But this has the right labels on it and did the right thing. It's basically advantage and disadvantage within the Apocalypse World system and a way to do it.
Mm.
So that's Leslie's being very clever in chat, I see. So we kind of stole that out of here right away. And that, I think, sums up almost everything that I have bookwise purchased in the last month or so.
That seems to be a good addition to your already somewhat extensive collection.
Yes,
Which is always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Always got to expand. Got to improve the library, as it were.
Sure. You no doubt have noticed a trailer for a thing has come out.
Yes. There's been a few. Which one in particular?
Which one do you think? Take a guess. Go ahead.
I'm just trying to think the last trailer I saw.
Would you like some help?
I'd like a hint.
It's part of a franchise.
Oh, that franchise.
But not a sequel.
No, not a sequel. A spin-off.
Aha! You are with me.
We're not taking any of these main characters, and we're going to try something different.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Except that we know that some of the main characters are in it already because they were in the pre-trailer, the teaser
That's
trailer,
right.
as it were.
The teaser trailer. And clearly say it. It's
The thing to which I am referring is, of course, Star Wars Rogue One.
Yes. Although what we just said could have almost equally been applied to what Leslie just suggested: Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Never heard of it.
Or even Marvel's Doctor Strange.
Never heard of it. Here's the thing. I have no interest in Rogue One.
Wow. Though I can kind of get it.
That dawned on me the other day. I have no interest in Rogue One. Like, not even a little.
Is it because what you saw in the trailer kind of gave away one of the key components of the story?
No, because I didn't watch the trailer. That's how little interest I had.
Yes. Because there was a large plot. Well, I guess you could call it a plot point. Yeah, you could call it a plot point that was given away in the trailer. But yes,
But no.
I don't know if it was a good or bad thing to give it away in the trailer. It was interesting. It was like, oh, that's who that person's father is. Interesting. Okay.
All I know is that Twitter lit up with oh my god, the Rogue One trailer is out. Oh my god, it looks so great, and it sounded so familiar to something I heard a year ago.
Yeah.
Or maybe slightly more. And I went, I just don't care. And I don't even care that I don't care.
Wow, that's a double not care.
So, yeah. I don't know.
You don't care, but are you going to see it nonetheless?
Nope.
Going in with almost zero expectations.
Nope.
Wow.
I'm not going to see it in a theater. I know that.
Fair enough.
Maybe when it's online at some point.
Which I'm sure it will be.
Oh yeah,
Very,
sure.
Very
Sure.
They'll want to capitalize on the monetization of a franchise they paid quite a bit of money for.
Right. Which makes me wonder if and when it happens, whether I will be interested in episode 8 now.
Yes, that'll be next year.
Right.
I feel like they're doing the every other year for the trilogy, and in between are these standalones.
Yep.
And my understanding of the current standalones is Rogue One, the Han Solo film, not the Solo, and then allegedly a Boba Fett film, which is currently in development hell, apparently, and not really being made at the moment.
Right.
So
there you go. That's where I'm at.
I feel like they're treading on very dangerous territory with the latter two, though. How do you make a Han Solo or Boba Fett film that 95% of the fan base don't immediately hate for you even attempting it?
Right.
How do you do it? I don't know how.
I don't know.
I don't know how you do it.
I have a hard time seeing myself in the theater for any of these things.
Well, it's sort of got a bit of a Marvel feel to it.
Yeah. Wait. Leslie has a very important question in the chat.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you for bringing this to our attention, because it is actually a critical point that goes to the root of so many things.
Question. And that question is, why does anyone care about Boba Fett? Well, the answer is because he was on screen in a Star Wars film.
I think someone added up the number of minutes he was on screen, and it wasn't a great number.
No.
It was a very deficient number.
It wasn't just that he was on screen in a Star Wars film. He was on screen in 2 Star Wars films. That's it. That's the whole reason. I'm going to sneeze here in a minute if I'm not careful.
And then got murdered horribly, in a horrible way, that was left people wondering. So, yeah.
Right.
It's just really weird, because he did scream like a girl when he went into the pit, so there's that too. It's cool. Well, for the 80s, I guess.
Does he? He looks like a guy wearing a boiler suit with armor pads strapped to it. I mean, not even like good armor pads, like sports armor, sports pads, sports, knee pads.
But I don't know. I think a lot of why do people care about Boba Fett is because a few people wanted to see, with every franchise, with every film, with everything, you've got the main characters, and everyone picks their main favourite character. But there's always a subgroup of people who don't want to follow the crowd, who are not on the bandwagon of the main characters, and they deliberately go looking for the outsider, I wonder what his story is on the side, because then they can make up their own story about him.
Yep.
And I think that happened, and then all the people who got introduced to Star Wars in the 90s and the 2000s as they were growing up kind of saw some of this information and just went, oh, I wonder what his... And then just they got sold into the idea that he was cool. But, I mean, if you actually take it on screen, he's got the same as what's the chick? See, I'm going to get hated for this, but who cares? What's the chick's name in the new Star Wars film that wears the silver stormtrooper armor? That's kind of the current Boba Fett equivalent. That everyone's jumping on is like, oh, she's really cool, she does amazing stuff, blah blah. And like, she was on screen for no seconds and did nothing.
Captain Phasma.
There you go.
Yeah.
She's the new Boba Fett.
Basically.
In 20 years, people will be talking about her like they're talking about Boba Fett right now.
Taken with what's on screen, Boba Fett has no personality, no character arc, And aside from moving Han Solo from one location to another, does nothing. The sole point of his existence is to move Han Solo from Cloud City to Jabba's palace.
Yes.
That's it. It's the only reason he's there.
Yep.
And from there, a whole mythology has been built up around him. You know?
Yeah.
Now, if you happen to have seen the Star Wars special, you get introduced to Boba Fett a little early.
Sure.
Still not much there.
No. But I think some people like that. They don't want the story, so they make up their own story.
Well, and that's the thing. Everything that people think is cool about Boba Fett has come from now it's legacy stuff, but the expanded universe.
Yes. EU now renamed Legacy.
Right.
The EU the Legacy formerly known as EU. There you go.
Right.
That's fine.
So yeah, that's what you're looking at. And if you do a Han Solo project, that Boba Fett is going to be in it somewhere.
Has to.
Okay. You know that they just announced today that they've cast Lando Calrissian for it.
Yeah.
Just today they announced that. So that's in there. It's just like here's the chunk. We're gonna find out why Lando had the Falcon and why Han Solo ends up with it. That's what we're gonna find out.
And that story could be interesting.
Oh, excuse me. And how he ends up hooked up with a Wookiee.
And a Wookiee, of course.
Yes.
The Wookiee life, the famous Wookiee life debt, and how it came to be.
Right. Those are the things that are going to be in the Han Solo movie. There you go.
It's going to be like, surely it has to be like an origin film, like so many
the
other
only question is what the balance is going to be between those things. How much Wookiee thing are we going to have versus how much Boba Fett thing are we going to have versus how much Millennium Falcon thing are we going to have?
So it's going to be like Act 1 Wookiee, Act 2 Lando, Act 3 try and make some point out of having a film at all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not
excited.
The only Star Wars I'm currently interested in is Rebels.
Which is actually kind of good.
It is kind of good. It's actually
kind of good.
Very good. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they do, with Ahsoka and whatnot. Because in my contention is that Ahsoka has and is the best character arc in all of Star Wars.
Well, she actually had some character development.
Right.
It was like more than half a dimension.
Yep.
Like not even one, just like half a dimension. So many characters.
Yeah.
She actually had a little depth.
She's got the most interesting story. Yeah, she's got the most interesting story of just about any Star Wars character. So that's fine. I would sit for an Ahsoka standalone film.
That would actually be quite interesting.
That will never happen, but I'd stand for it.
And I think a lot of other people, again, another character who wasn't screen all that long, but got fleshed out in some cartoonish form was Maul, of course, that everyone loves. The little half robot Maul.
Yeah.
Which was a thing.
I'm not no. Maul is
Maul is Maul.
Maul is only there because at some point you get tired of making new Darth.
True.
And you have Vader running around.
You do.
And you can't really... if you're following some of the quote-unquote rules of the universe, okay, you can't have another Sith Lord. You can't have another Darth.
No.
So the only thing you've got is to...
hiding and they're not doing anything.
The only thing you've got is to drag one back somewhere.
Yeah. Which is, it's very restrictive for storytelling a lot of the time. But I like how Rebels actually handled that.
Yeah.
It's like, no, these aren't Sith, these aren't the big guys. These are just sort of the acolytes, the guys in training, the ones who would like to be at the top of the tree, but will probably never be anywhere close to that good.
No. Probably
and that
not.
kind of makes a lot more sense. It actually makes for a lot more interesting villain when they're not all. But like, you can't have like in Rebels. Yes, Darth Vader's there, but you can't have an interaction with him that results in him losing in any real meaningful way.
No, because
you just run away. That's the outcome.
Yeah, and that is sort of the problem, is that the history of the major name characters is known. You know what happens to them because you've got those films that tell you what happened to them.
So you can't. It almost makes them boring to bring them in, apart from a quick cameo. It's like, oh shit, he was real close to them, and then but they didn't cross paths, and that's okay.
Right.
But it's not really a threat. It's more. It's not even an obstacle. It's just a natural weather event that you go around. It's literally a thunderstorm that you just fly around. You don't go into it. You just go around it because there's no point going into it. There's no value in there. So, yeah. But,
sorry about that. I had a big sneeze right in there.
As you say, I like what they're doing with Rebels. There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So Rebels is fine. I'm enjoying Rebels. It's proving to be pretty good.
Mm. Yes.
Oh, man. Sorry.
That's all right.
Big
coughing up a lung
big
and
sneeze.
everything.
Yeah, that's great. Anyway, yeah. So that was the trailer, and then you've got all this other stuff out there with Potters and I don't know what else.
Look, I have a vague hope that the new Potter thing might actually be interesting because they are shifting countries, and as a result, will probably use none of the old characters ever.
I will tell you right now, I don't care about Harry Potter anymore. All right? I sound like a horrible, bitter old man, but I don't care about Harry Potter anymore. All right? I don't care about the Potter universe. I don't care about any of that. It's just like we got to book 7. Book 7 was the worst written book in the entire series. And I'm done.
Yeah. It's, well, see... It's like, well, why was it bad? And it's just because it didn't serve its purpose.
Well, I mean, that's among the many reasons that it was bad. I mean, when you add in the fact that she somehow felt the need to drag in every single character she'd ever mentioned, even in passing, I just don't. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered to take an interest.
I'll probably watch it, but I don't know. I just hope that it's so radically different with a different tone entirely. Because if it's got the same tone, it's just not going to work. If it's a different tone, takes a different maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm grasping at straws because what else is coming out in the near future that I actually want to watch?
Doctor Strange! No. Not really.
Like, again, I might, probably, maybe, but, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's just the recent stuff.
2?
What?
Guardians 2? Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Nope.
That's a thing, apparently?
Nope.
I don't know.
Nope.
No.
Not impressed.
Not impressed.
One didn't do anything for me.
I haven't really seen anything in the cinemas that I actually want to see that looks amazing. That's nothing to do with the pre-existing franchise, like just something new and looks interesting.
Let's see here. Let me pull up my local chain theater.
Sounds dangerous. Sounds very dangerous.
Let's see what's out there.
I'm going to do the same.
We've got. Oh wow! This is brilliant. We've got Jack Reacher.
Oh, the
Never
sequel
Go
to
Back.
the film that never needed one.
We've got Tyler Perry's Boo. We've got Ouija.
I don't think it's the original. I think it's a new one.
We've got The Accountant with Ben Affleck.
Oh, sounds amazing.
Keeping Up with the Joneses. We've got Kevin Hart in What Now? We've got The Girl on the Train. We've got Denial. Miss Peregrine's School for Peculiar Children, or Home for Peculiar Children.
Right, so Xavier's X-Men, that's fine. Yeah.
Max Steel, which nobody is talking about in any way, shape, or form.
Look, when I saw that, and I said, Max Steel, I've seen that before. Where have I seen that before? Oh yes, Saturday morning cartoons.
Right.
That's where I've seen that before.
We've got Deepwater Horizon, The Magnificent Seven, which Leslie says is good.
She says it's amazing.
May or may not be accurate. Middle School. Storks. Sully. Suicide Squad is still out.
Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't that terrible?
That's my understanding. I can't. I realize this sounds like I'm a horribly bitter person, but I just do not care about any of those enough to go see them.
Yeah. And what's coming soon? What's coming soon? Coming soon.
Well,
I'm not seeing anything coming soon.
Here's how good my theater is. Now, my theater is the Cinemark chain, right? Coming soon is Fantastic Beasts, Almost Christmas, Doctor Strange. They're running Halloween.
Yeah, I've got a Nightmare on Elm Street, 1984 showing coming soon.
Do you? That's good. That's good. We've got Pokemon, the first movie.
Actually seen that.
A bunch of ballet stuff from the Bolshoi. Breakfast at Tiffany's eventually. This is good. I found a good one.
Oh, do tell.
Wow. Monday, November 14th only. Doctor Who, The Power of the Daleks.
Oh. Interesting.
That is... Oh, no. Is that... No. What? No. Oh, this... Okay, interesting. Okay, maybe this is interesting. Maybe it isn't interesting. Now, I'm not really sure.
Now you're reading into it. Okay.
Doctor Who, it's animated. The Power of the Daleks. Lost to an archive purge in the 70s. It's a 1966 six-part Doctor Who series, which will be shown in theaters nationwide. Based on audio recordings, photographs, and film clips from the original series. It's a brand new animated series, which has been reimagined.
Be terrified and then slightly interested at the same time.
Reimagined and shown in black and white.
Oh.
Huh.
Okay.
That could be interesting.
Yeah.
Vaguely interesting. That's November,
vaguely interesting and shockingly terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, here, I've got one that you can't miss. It's coming out on October 30th. The runtime is 360 minutes. League of Legends Worlds.
No. Nope. Just nope. That's a big old pile of no.
You don't watch the World's Grand Final of League no?
No. Now, sir, on November 6th and 9th, are you ready for this?
November 6th and 9th. Hit me up.
Are you sitting down?
Yes.
Are you strapped in? I don't want you to fall out of your chair.
Let me. I'll just lean into it. I'm leaning into it.
You're leaning into it. The 20th anniversary showing of From Dusk Till Dawn. 20 years.
20 years.
20 years. Right.
Right. That was one of Clooney's, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yep.
In
20
old
years.
Terrence the Teens. Dusk Till Dawn. You know they made an entire TV series out of that.
Uh-huh.
I didn't watch it.
No, neither did I.
Wasn't a thing.
Neither did I. Neither did I.
Wasn't a thing.
Well, sir, have we got any questions to answer or anything else to add?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. Unless Leslie's got something to.
And Leslie had
She
to.
already asked us the big question that we answered. So.
She had to depart.
Shattered. Anyone else watching care to chime in? There are allegedly some people watching.
Yes, it's an allegation that has been made, certainly.
And by allegedly, I mean like one person assuming both of us are looking at the stream at the moment.
Right.
I feel like everyone else is departed.
I do too.
But that's okay.
Well,
Never mind. There you go.
we will probably have to do an evaluation to see how many of these we want to continue to do for
Indeed.
a small audience. I don't know. Not sure.
Well, we got 2 thumbs up and no thumbs down, so no one hates us.
Well, there you go. 2 thumbs up, no thumbs down. Is one of them yours?
No, not me.
Oh.
I don't thumb.
You don't thumb. I don't interact in
No
any
thumbs.
way.
No thumbs.
All right, man.
No worries. No worries.
It's good to talk to you again.
Good to talk to you as well. I will persist with the Civ 6, and we'll see if it's anything that you might actually want to play later.
You
So,
do that. We should.
Give it some time.
Yeah.
Give it some time.
I'm not going to jump right in. I got enough to do. I got Tomb Raiders to tomb. Or raid.
You do.
Yeah.
You do. Enjoy the tombing, the dooming tombing.
Yeah. We should thank our Patreon supporters.
Certainly should.
We should. So why don't you do that?
Let's see if I can recall.
You can't, can you?
Let's see. There's always the mysterious Mr. X.
Yes, there is always that.
There's let's see who else.
Right,
wanna
Eric
say-
the General, Nathan Ainsworth, Epoch Wolf, and the mysterious Mr. X. That's what you meant to
There
say,
you go.
right?
There you go. I'm glad I didn't say the one I was thinking of because he was an odd one that left. So there's a good thing. I didn't say.
Yes. And of course, all our regular sponsors as well. Thank you very much. If you want to support us on Patreon, we are at patreon.com/madadventures. Very easy, very, very there is what it is. You also, for your support, will get access to the Transit RPG alpha testing.
Should definitely check that out.
Isn't that nice?
It is nice. See, Twitter is just lighting up with Transit RPG. There's lots of stuff going back and forth.
Yes. Twitter. I'm on Twitter. If you would like to follow us, I am at Fiddleback
And I'm at Dreadphrase at the moment.
for no particular reason.
No particular reason, just because.
Okay. There you go. That's the thing and the stuff. Subscribe and like if you subscribed and like, and I don't know.
Do all those amazing things.
I don't know. Do things and stuff, and then we'll see you maybe next time. How's that? Take that. So there. Ha ha ha.
Haha.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Have fun. Bye-bye. Bye now. Here we go. Toodle pip.
Queen wave.